Hello there, everyone. That's me opening a bottle of Dr. Pepper. Hello, everyone, and welcome to ASF Behind the Scenes. Once again, me and Eggman will be covering the events in and around. That's what I keep putting in the description nowadays. With Mr. A.K.I. and Dr. Eggman talk about the events in and around said given subject or event or whatever. Yeah, I might as well just say it here. So we're going to talk about everything in and around Unforgiven. There's not a lot to talk about, but there is some very interesting things to talk about, of course. Some things happen on this event, and they must be said. And everything else that goes with it. Whatever. I keep saying there's not much to talk about, and we end up talking about the whole time. This event is scheduled to be an hour and 20 minutes, give or take. So it's not been as long as the other ones, especially the last two. Summer Strike was over 2 hours, and this one was. Also, we've had some problems with YouTube. Or I have, anyway. I don't know about you. No, I always have problems with YouTube. I can't even find the on switch. Yeah, we've had some problems with YouTube. We must at all costs, because I didn't realise, I've completely forgotten, that YouTube get really ratty, and so do the WWE, about the Sonic's new opening. The entrance with the roads and the buildings and the helicopter and all that shit going on. Where, you know, the bit where we have to be quiet. I don't know who made that rule, but we have to avoid that at all costs. I'm going to start the video right now, because that's been 2 minutes worth of introduction, which is enough, but we can talk about that as it goes on, because it's something to talk about. But for some reason it gets ratty over about 2 seconds worth. Well, 2 seconds, what am I talking about? For about 40 or 50 seconds worth of video on this huge show, which I don't get any money from. I'm not earning a profit from it. And the copyright goes absolutely AWOL and stops the video from being broadcast at all because of that bit. And every time I look to find what part it's talking about, it goes straight to Sonic's entrance. So I'm like, oh, you're getting ratty over something insignificant. Man, YouTube have become so safety friendly. I feel like this whole entire video is going to be a rant about the crap of YouTube quality. I was always considering going to another video hosting place, like, I don't know, I've scared some people by saying to them Daily Motion, and they've said, well, it depends, but you know, I probably won't be prosecuted for showing 40 seconds worth of footage that technically isn't mine. But then again, I'm having a show with characters that aren't mine, and oh look, there's Ackie. It's Akkie's debut. That's something to talk about. But you know, on a show which, you know, which has names that aren't mine, on a concept that isn't mine, with characters that aren't mine, with music that isn't mine, and the only thing you have trouble with is this piece of footage. Even doing this now, when there's no sound on it and we're just talking over it, it doesn't like it. So Sonic's entrance is the biggest no-no in the history of everything. Okay? That's what YouTube sees it as. It says, you can't put this footage on. End of story. No matter what form you put it in. Though, if some of you have been watching the later episodes, or even, it was probably Mascot Mania, I did change it finally, instead of not putting it in, is I just reversed the footage and sped it up. It's still got the original piece of music over it, just cut up so it fits with the entrance. So I found a way around it. So we still get the nice little intro thing there. And nowadays we're talking over it anyway, so there you go. What I wanted to be on the screen is on the screen in some way, shape or form. So screw you, YouTube. Block that. Dear, I'm going to get in trouble for that. Hopefully not. So yes, this is coming off of the draft. This is our first Raw exclusive big event, with the draftees coming over. This being one of them. Hello, Amy, and also Cream. So, the women's division scene. So, by all means, but on that last topic, actually, make sure you remind me to stop the footage when Sonic's entrance comes, and then we can skip over the video, so then we don't get in trouble. And because the inconvenience of that is, I have to put a stupid message in there. I put in there last time. Insert Sonic's entrance footage here. And also I had to put in, and then in a fit of rage, because I was so pissed off the first time, because we uploaded Summer Strike on, when did we upload Summer Strike? Well, we uploaded Summer Strike, and then I was gone for a day, because I was busy. And then I came back all like happy as Larry, only to find out the video had been blocked because of this stupid piece of footage, and I got so pissed off. And that was me just venting my rage, if anyone was watching that bit at the time, or you can go back and watch it. Sonic, I can tell you what I put. It's in big yellow letters on a black back screen, on a black background, I should say. And it says, insert Sonic's footage here, and then afterwards I put, fuck copyright and fuck the WW fucking E. Fuck face E, I think I put. Because, yeah, that was what was responsible for this happening. As much as I love stealing from their product, they seem to like not letting me steal that one little thing. It really pissed me off. The whole show couldn't be uploaded, and so then I had to put that bit in. Then I had to resave it, which takes long enough, especially being 2 hours long. So must avoid Sonic's entrance, at least the beginning part with the city footage that isn't mine, and the helicoptery pooey, or whatever you want to call it. Helicoptery pooey. What the fuck is? Enough with your slang. It's horrible. Right, okay. So yes, this is Amy and Cream. They've been drafted over to Raw. And yeah, as we said, this I think I said it in the draft at some point, that this really put the brakes on the women's division all of a sudden, because I found myself with hardly any females. Samus had gone over to SmackDown. Rouge was on SmackDown. Sonya was still on SmackDown. Who else had gone over? Mandy had come here, but we couldn't put her in the women's division for the simple premise that we want other things for her. Though she would have been nice, so maybe I shot myself in the foot doing that. But I didn't see this coming, you know. So we had Amy and Cream, so that was like, hey. And we had Tikal, which we were going to get into. I thought, if we use limited supply at this stage in the game, it may not seem like we're caring much about the division, the women's division at this time, but considering the resources we had to stretch things out big time, and we did with these two, to the point where I don't think we could stretch it out anymore, because we had these two fighting in a rivalry, then we had the angle with Tikal turning heel, and then we had Lisa coming over, which I'm very glad that the fans decided to vote for, if it was, even if it seemed like a bad thing or a good thing, but in hindsight it was a good thing. That was for ASIF, and then so we got that whole thing, and now Lisa will go off to do a rivalry with someone else that isn't Cream. So there's the hype for the women's division. Hooray! Lisa is going to rival with someone else. Yeah, that isn't Cream. Or Tikal. I'm giving too much away here. Not too much. From what you've told me, you're not giving away that much. But there's a nice hint. It won't be Cream or Tikal that she'll be rivaling with. I wonder who else. Anyway. So, so that's going to move on now. So I'm happy that this is the beginning of a dreadful start to the women's division, or the rebirth of the women's division over on Raw. But so that's why I wanted to just get this match in and out the way. These two can start it off, and it has pretty much been the opening show. Armageddon, we had the twist because we had the twist ending, and also, but Survivor Series, it was the first match as well. This was between Cream and Tikal. So we've stretched out as much as possible, I think, and we got all we could out of it. Until people completely lost interest by the time Mindy was there to face Cream for the Women's Championship. Well, we'll talk about that ASIF. So yeah, so Women's Division, not the best start for the draft, after the draft. I really didn't know where I was going to go with this. Again, one of those unprepared things that I was for. This is still pre me feeling that I should put trousers on them or shorts. So tons and tons of panty shots. Enough said. It's going to be like that, is it? Yeah, it's going to be. We started talking perverted, now we're going to start after the draft talking perverted. Anyway, at least Amy has won, hooray. So yeah. So Amy wins the Women's Championship. I forget if she was the heel at this point. We might have done a switch at some point. It might have been a fan's decision to make Cream a heel because they didn't like her being a champion, so it was like, oh fun, we're making a bad guy then. Which was kind of fun. Making Cream a villain is something intriguing to do. I've never hardly done that, even in the old ASF. It was kind of hard to categorize that person to being that character that you hate, necessarily. Although I guess I can see the simplicity in it now, but that was back then, and I didn't have much experience on how to make such an adorable character a heel. And there goes the first video. Yeah, so this next upcoming match is Akkie's debut. Well, should I say big event debut. He already debuted post, or should I say before SummerSlam. And then, because I think I mentioned this before, but he was just there to stand with Star in case she wanted to appear on the stage at any time to announce things, instead of being in the ring or whatever with a person. Seeing as you can't have one person stand on the stage, you need two, so Ackie seemed like a good plan to do that. So that's what his position was originally, because as many of you know, obviously Ackie is my internet name, so I didn't put much thought into it, and he was just going to be posing as Star's boyfriend. The end. So were you two in a relationship? No. Before anyone jumps to that conclusion. No, we weren't. No. Nope. How many times can I say no? You can say it as many times as you want. Okay, nope. I never loved her. So, yeah, and then I thought, well, I need, seeing as we've given Metal Sonic some kind of momentum, winning at the draft against Astroth of all people, I thought, well, Metal Knuckles also needs a bit of recognition because he's kind of been on a downer ever since the Hell in a Cell. In fact, he lost the Hell in a Cell, so I needed just someone to give him, to feed him, so to speak, feed him more, as a Ryback joke. For a person that isn't Ryback, who likes injuring people like CM Punk. We won't go into that. But he just needed someone to be fed, and I thought, well, seeing as Ackie doesn't have many credentials, we can give Metal Knuckles something to do here and he can win against him. But we did form a nice little rivalry around it. We had Metal Knuckles attacking Star, for some random reason, but I think this is when we had his theme changed, when he was more demented monster-like, being a bit more of a, shall we say, a terrorist. So being anti-authority and everything like that, which was good authority, not bad authority, by all means. Star was never never a heel, as she just acted annoying. But you know, give her credit where credit is due. She did what she did, and made us all laugh. So, as bad as that sounds, but you know, it's a good thing, I say. It's kind of a wrestling quirk almost. She kind of falls under the category of John Laurinaitis. Yeah, just a voice you don't like to hear. Still, I think she's better than Laurinaitis, and that's, you know, that's Laurinaitis. But hey, there's not a lot you can compare him to. He can continue talking and sounding like he's got an asthma attack all the time. So yeah, so it was a nice little story of Metal Knuckles attacking and Ackie being the boyfriend coming to defend the girlfriend, the one who he loves. So it got Ackie into the fray, and it gave us another match, because there wasn't a lot of thought for Unforgiven at all because of the amount of matches. We only have 5 matches on this event, hence why it's so short. But we don't have matches in segments, because we didn't have a lot of matches for like Vengeance and Bad Blood or Judgment Day. But we had matches that stretched out, like the elimination matches or stuff like that. You know, the ladder match for Bad Blood and the Hell in a Cell, which I really dragged out. And you know, so but no matches on this card were gonna be fleshed out. The 2 out of 3 falls was hard. We'll see if the unpinnable gimmick starts here, because I can't remember, but it's soon around this point. It's pretty soon around this point. So it might have started here, because Metal Sonic might have not got a victory over Chaos at all, and if it was, it wasn't by pinfall. So we will see. That's going to be something exciting to look forward to. Oh, here's a cover. Oh no, we kicked out. That's always a good thing. After a couple of power bombs. So yeah, what was I talking about? Friggin' yeah, Metal Sonic and Chaos. So Metal Knuckles needed something, bottom line, because he still needed his presence felt. I said, because he still needs to be a monster. Now we haven't got many big guys on Raw because Nightmare's gone over to SmackDown now. And the Cyrus Robot is also on SmackDown, so we're running out of bad guys. Even Homer is on SmackDown, so we have hardly any big guys on the roster. So Metal Knuckles needs to be one of those guys to be playing the monster heel. So this will put him on the pedestal, this match. Once he's established his reign over Star and Ackie, being the authority relationship, then he can, and seeing as, and then of course we formed the tag team of the partnership, I should say. It wasn't necessarily a tag team of Sonic and Metal Knuckles, because the way Sonic was getting treated, he thought he was going to come out with the carpet rolling red, and lo and behold, he doesn't win the championship. Mario does instead. Starts off that whole thing with Shadow as well, and then you know, so he becomes really unhappy. Sonic has never been completely, his character has never been completely satisfied on the show. Now that I think about it, he's always been angry about something. We need to write something different for him, and fast. Oh dear. He has been a misery gut, so yeah, you're definitely right on that one. He was happy for a little time after Summer Strike, but then Shadow and Mario happened, and then he turned back into an emo. No, I won't say that. He turned back into a I hate everything kind of person. Ah, dear, poor Sonic. You have to feel for him sometimes. No wonder he's turned out the way he has. But that's down to the fans, I think. But it's kind of a more an amusing angle than him being an irritating bug on the wall or whatever. That's one thing I like to point out. Ackie just did that finishing maneuver. Why do you call it a tree stump? Why do I call it a tree stump? That's an interesting question. I'm gonna have a drink while I think about that one, if you excuse me. You're excused. Yeah, turn me into Vicky Guerrero. Excuse me. No, don't do that to me. So the tree stump is because Ackie is my name, my internet name, I should say. It kind of actually sprawled off of Mr. A.K.I, if anything, because I started out as Mr. A.K.I, and then someone on the internet started calling me, started referring to me as Ackie, because A.K.I spells out Ackie in a way. So I thought, well, I'll make a name out of it then, and then I just added a C and an E to the end. And then I turned into Ackie, and that's been my internet name ever since like 2004. So about 10 years now I've been Ackie on the internet. But before that I was Mr. A.K.I, or just A.K.I. I've never referred to myself as Mr, but I thought I needed a bit more of an authority title when I'm making this show, so I'm just Mr. Just refer to me as Mr. A.K.I, like Mr. McMahon or whatever. I never called Jeff Jarrett Mr. Jarrett. That's because it'd be friggin' weird. Although we have Dixie Carter as Miss Carter. Oh. This actually turned out to be a pretty good match, this did. I was quite happy with it in terms of length and everything and how it went. Look, I'm trying to beat Ackie here, and it's becoming quite impossible. So this was, even if he lost, it was an impressive outcome in the end, which I'm glad. Kind of, I wasn't planning on putting Ackie out there. That's why I made him lose, and I thought this was just going to be a simple squash match. But Ackie stood his ground, and I said, "Fuck it, we'll leave it in as the final cut," because this event is short enough as it is. Because this was probably one of the last matches I recorded, seeing as I didn't think it would be much of a big deal. See, I never record things in order, and that's just all put together in post. So this is probably one of the last matches, if I remember, that I actually recorded for the show. And because it was so short, the rest of the show, I just thought, oh, we'll leave the long version in. Because I had another one standing by, which I was more happy with in terms of the how long it was, and I wasn't putting Ackie over necessarily. But I decided to put this one in instead. So yeah, that all went really well for both people. I mean, look, we're getting a count out from a lack of stamina from Metal Knuckles here. So yeah. But the victory wasn't the more important thing than how the match went, for me anyway. I don't know how everyone else took it, but there you go. So the name Tree Stump, yeah, I'm kind of avoiding that, aren't I? So yeah, Ackie was my name, and if you look up the term Ackie is actually a creature, a lizard, or in some way, shape, or form. And they live, a lot of them live on trees, if my calculations are correct, so hence why Akkie's finishing move there is called Tree Stump. It sounds lame, but hey, how can you think of a decent finishing name like that? Boom, you can. And like I said, I wasn't planning on putting Ackie up there on high up on the roster, and lo and behold, now he is pretty much. But But yeah, never. But you know, it's just a name that's stuck, and no one's been complaining about it, saying it's been a terrible name for his finishing move. He's got the new one now because of his gimmick with being the wild card. Like, you never know what's on his mind. I kind of like the Ackie character as a total. It's been a great success, even though I haven't actually planned it out. I think you came up with the wild card idea because Ackie kept on either winning or losing, and always acted slightly different in all of his matches you picked up. So we slowly started calling him the wild card, and here Metal Knuckles is going to get a counter victory. There you go, but a victory nonetheless. I had to be settled with that one. I had another match, but in terms of how long the event was in total, I needed something longer, so this had to be it. And it showed that the rivalry wasn't actually over, because lo and behold, Ackie and Metal Knuckles clash again at some point in the future, in the Survivor Series match also as well. So it stretches it out a little bit, which is good. I don't like storylines that completely drag on for all of eternity, but like that other show. But I like ones that at least take up a few shows, and then you can say, right, now we can move on to something else, and it'll be fresh and it'll be new, and people will be excited again for this new story. That's why Unforgiven, this needed to be a lot of end-ofs in terms of rivalries. Speaking of that, we got Knuckles facing Mandy up next with your twists. That's the only reason I think we did this match in the end and made it a KO match. We had that twist, and we had you at ringside, or your character, I should say. I always keep referring to you. You're not a video game character, but your character, Eggman. We had you in there, so that spiced things up at least a little bit. We didn't advertise the fact that you'd be there, but it was the safe bet that you were probably going to be there. Yeah, and it gave me a day off. I didn't have to call a match. Oh, shut up! You enjoy it. Yes, I do. I confess. It's at this stage it was becoming rather much more fun than it was before. Back then it was, because before this it was kind of a bit daunting, but this is when we were finding our mark and we were having better commentaries and everything. Even the fans agreed. So I was really enjoying doing this. I was starting to really get into it, and then, you know, if you enjoy doing what you're doing, you're better at it, I find. So and we both enjoy doing this, and we've expressed that fact. So, you know, that's probably why we're really good at it now. Yep. That's all good. I'll have another drink. Bit. Yeah. It's a Sunday, give me a break. So yeah, we were actually gonna have Knuckles win this one originally to defy the odds, but I thought, well, hang on a minute, this is the rubber match basically. They've had the ladder match, which turned into a disaster, but Knuckles won, and then we had the tag team title match, which Mandy won. So this is basically the best out of the there's Eggman on the side there. I have to, in order to do this, I have to make the match a handicap match. There's no option on this game to have managers at ringside, so that's why you always see, if you're always wondering why suddenly the manager shows up on the apron, it's simply because it's a handicap match, and so I quickly have to make said person jump down. Right from the get-go. And it's really hard controlling two people, let me tell you. At some point, sometimes, why am I saying that continuously and fucking up? But at some stages, I even consider just letting the AI go at it and I be the manager on the outside. I'd be the conniving bastard, in other words. But you know, But some of these matches with the manager at ringside are controlled by the AI. I don't think this one was. Not 100% sure. But we'll find out when we go outside, because we do go outside on this one. I don't know why I didn't get more involved, to be honest, because all my character. Don't worry, we're all making mistakes today. But I was, you know, why aren't I getting in the ring? Because there's no disqualification in the first place. It's simply a KO match. But you know, it was. Now I look back on it, I realise if we wanted to put Mandy over, she needed to do stuff by herself, even if she was the heel. So she'd use every trick in the book to get a heel victory, and get a cheap victory or whatever. Excuse me. So I realised, right, that's why I'm staying outside. Even if I'm getting involved on the outside, you know, we need her to do stuff in the ring by herself. Otherwise it just turns into a calamity of a match and it doesn't come off very good. For Mandy anyway. So, seeing as we needed to push her into that direction. And that's why I wanted Knuckles to originally win this match, actually, because without thinking about the fact that we needed to push Mandy a bit more, seeing as she hasn't even appeared on the Summer Strike event, and she got a victory at the draft, though, I believe. Or did she? No, she did. So I was thinking, well, we did the draft, so Knuckles could now, because this was pretty much at the point where Knuckles I was considering to be the champion. So, because of course we all know he cashes in at Survivor Series, which is not long after this. So, but in the end we gave it to Mandy because we said, well, we can give Knuckles his dues and his pushes once he wins the championship, of which we did. In true amazing fashion. Oh. So yeah, so we were worried about Knuckles' push when he won the championship, because we said, he's already got enough momentum. He's already the king of the ring and won Money in the Bank and retained Money in the Bank X number of times or whatever. So he's done his job. But Mandy needs the bigger push here because that's more of the impossible storyline. Here's you being dragged down onto a trash can by Mandy, of all people. Son of a. But yeah, I think I was controlling both people at the same time. Only one of them seems to move at once. So yes, I was controlling both people. So yeah, that confirms that on the outside there. So yeah, Mandy needed to win because of whatever. The best way to win is against the person she's been rivaling with all this time, and get the final match victory. Moving on, because we've been talking about enough about Mandy and Knuckles, I'm sure, throughout the whole of this thing, but they were definitely the focal points, at least at this point in time, and have been throughout up until this point, certainly, because look at where their position is right now. Not in terms of Mandy, that was just an experiment, but certainly for Knuckles. There is something I can bring up, is someone was listening to us on Summer Strike. Yeah, someone was listening to us at Summer Strike, and well, I'm sure a lot of people are listening to us, otherwise why are you tuning in if you're not listening? But someone came in with a theme for Manic if we use TNA themes. Oh, this would be interesting. Go on then, hit me with it. and the person's comment is the comment was made by jgrams28. I always enjoy trying to say these names. I don't hate them. I never hate YouTube names. They fascinate with me and with how people come up with them, and you got to work out how they got to be pronounced. But I'm assuming that's jgrams28. jgrams28, and he said Austin Aries theme for Manic because we were saying drums. And if you remember, Austin Aries theme is it's a drum beat. Yeah, that works actually. Thinking about it, not all of the song is kind of a drum beat. When it goes to whatever, you know what I mean. Like after that, it's very amusing watching you sing in that voice. Yes, I know. I'll do more of it. I do more of it. I do it on the show. Actually, I don't do it on the show, but apparently I've got a very good singing voice when I use this voice. I sing beautifully, if you can believe that. Can we have an example? Nope. Yeah, Austin Aries theme could fit. Good job. What's his name? jgrams28. jgrams28. Do you remember when when we were doing the fan tournaments? And I had to do the match lineup list thing with who was representing who, and it's still etched in my brain and always will be the screw up that I had with Yellow Guy 111. I remember that. I did put it as a cock up afterwards on the video, so everyone knows pretty much what you're talking about. Oh right, okay. You didn't tell me that. I don't tell you a lot of things, but I put it in there as a mistake. I think the way you said it was you just totally got confused and just continually said the number 1, and it actually went longer than the clip that I put on YouTube. I think you got a bit of my laughter in at the end because I was listening obviously to all of it. But yeah, I had to say things very quickly, and when it came to saying the 111 very quickly, things got out of hand. Yellow Guy 1. It's like, how many ones do you want on your name? Unless it's 111 or 111. I could have said that. Yellow Guy 111. Yes, thank you for that, Yellow Guy, if you are watching this. for driving him around the S-bend. Hey, look who it is! Oh! I love your Gormless standing there. Without even facing her. Yeah, that was a fun little segment. If you were just watching, but if you weren't, then Mindy just debuted and bicycle kicked Mandy in the face, and I was just standing there like a klutz. End of story. That's my line. I thought it'd be fitting, because it was. Yeah, but that was the debut of Mindy. We were just like, who the fuck was that? So that was a nice tie-off to say, this rivalry has ended, Mandy's going to be feuding with whoever just bicycle kicked her and ran a mile. Which of course turned out to be Mindy. So that was a nice explosive debut there after Mandy had won. Because I was going to debut on the Raw afterwards, but I said, fuck it, it's a big event, and it's Raw, and it's not exciting enough. We need someone to debut on the actual event. So that's why we also, that's another good thing for Mandy winning. We got to stand over Knuckles' corpse, and then suddenly Mindy comes in after the celebration and kicks her around the face with a bicycle kick. I love that move. I think it's one of my most favourite moments in the ASF, considering what happens afterwards, because Mindy hasn't reached a lot of incredible heights afterwards, but that's got to be one of my favourite moments that isn't a match in the making of this show. It's got to be Mindy debuting And bicycle kicking Mandy straight in the face. I love it. Oh dear. There you go. The truth comes out. No, I thought it was kind of funny too. Well, not funny, but you know, I found it amusing. Yeah. We're all like, who's that just did that? Someone just bicycle kicked Mandy in the face. Terrible. That's probably why I just stood there. I was just you made him just stand there going, what? What is going on here? Who's this individual? I think we might have even said in the commentary, was that a fan? A fan just bicycle kicked Mandy in the face. So here comes the moment of truth, Eggman. We're going to find out with Metal Sonic and Chaos here if Chaos is actually going to get beaten at all, because this is 2 out of 3 falls. Or is it 2 straight falls to Chaos? I cannot honestly remember. And it's for the Intercontinental Championship. I simply made this match, I think I said it at Summer Strike, simply for the fact that Metal Sonic got eliminated under the most stupidest consequences whatsoever. But hey, if it meant another match, then I'm all for it. And it's Metal Sonic versus Chaos. Great match. Yeah. I think we were talking about earlier the fact that, well, Chaos is one of the remaining big guy on Raw. Luckily he didn't go to SmackDown, but still, he was in that position to not be a monster heel because he had a championship. And then lo and behold, after he lost the title, yeah, you're right. So I had to have someone take up that position. Chaos was busy defending the Intercontinental title, so he couldn't be a monster heel because that doesn't fit the profile of a monster heel having a championship, at least in my book, anyway. We couldn't make him that monster heel guy until he lost the championship, and lo and behold, he did. Afterwards, he became like a factor between Shadow and Sonic, and had a great rivalry with Shadow being the monster chasing after the Intercontinental title again, and having some great matches with Shadow, and then was still doing it in the Mascot Rumble. Because I think he came into the Mascot Rumble, didn't he? And eliminated at least someone, I believe. Oh no, actually he didn't, but he did become a factor because we were saying, you know, we were still making a big deal about Chaos at the Mascot Rumble by saying, you know, we can't eliminate him by pinfall, so we're going to have to find another way, and luckily we managed to get him to run into Shadow, who eliminated him by count out. So yeah. Still, he had his presence being felt, I feel. Even if the end-all quality wasn't as great as we built it up to be. You know, people were probably still worried or intrigued, I should even say, about how Chaos was going to get eliminated in the Mascot Rumble, because let's face it, he wasn't going to win the event. I wouldn't make Chaos win the event. He hasn't got that persona to headline one of our biggest shows. So, or the biggest show that the ASF is going to put on. For all you guys out there, build the hype. He's already told me what's going down, so it's going down, and it actually looks pretty big, if I can say that. Well, of course it looks big. We're supposed to say it's going to be the best of all time, and then the next time we have another one, it's going to be the best of all time. But this one really is going to be the biggest event we've ever done. So look forward to Mascot Mania. We've got a lot of matches and stuff planned for it. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have more matches than we've ever had on any event on YouTube, or in Retro ASF, to that matter. I counted. Because more matches meant more writing from me on that front. So I try not to do that many. But I tried to do enough for when it came to Mascot Mania writing. But still, this doesn't compare. There'll be a lot of matches for Mascot Mania, so because like I said, I'm trying to fit everyone on the roster on the event, because why not? Because everyone gets to see who they like then on the biggest show, and that's what I feel should happen. So there's going to be a lot of matches for Mascot Mania, and don't worry, they're not going to be just random matches made up. They're all going to have really good. They're all going to have either really good or moderate storylines to build them up. or a good reason to have them. You know, so don't worry about that front either. We're going to build this up to be a big show, very big and important show, because that's exactly what it is. And that's exactly what I want to broadcast it as. So yeah, build the hype. Mascot Mania. It's going to be a huge wrestling event when we come to making it, which is coming back in February. Anyway, enough talking about that, and I guess there's not much to talk about this show. We've got to keep our eyes on the match though, to see what happens. I haven't been doing that right yet, but there you go. Folks, there's not going to be a lot of time left for the next One Night Only event. By the time this probably gets uploaded, you'll probably have about a couple more days, because voting closes on New Year's Day. That'll be the 1st of July. 1st of January. Because I need to make the event for the 25th of January, because that's when the One Night Only event will be. So if you haven't voted, get your votes in now. Now is the best time as any. I will put the link in the description, I certainly will, and I will not forget about all the info and what you can vote on for the next event. If you haven't had your say yet, now is the time, because this will be the last time we actually get to say it. Even if we're recording No Mercy, the making of No Mercy, just before New Year's Day, we'll be broadcasting that on New Year's Day. So this will be the last warning you get. For get voted for One Night Only, make it your event. There we go, Mouse Sonic did pin Chaos. Well, it probably started at Survivor Series then, there you go. Yeah, that's weird how that started, and then we suddenly made a big deal out of it, but then all of a sudden I think Chaos just started to become unpinnable. So yeah. But yeah, folks, get your votes in. Really, I mean it. You might be pleased by the results. What's the winning vote so far? I haven't actually looked, but from previously, because I'm counting votes that didn't make it from the previous voting, the second most popular vote from the last time was Hell in a Cell. So I don't know if that's the case now, because I haven't been counting. I'll count them all on New Year's Day, and then I'll be posting whatever match results I get out of whatever I get, which is the fun of all the fun of the fair. So that should come sometime within this week. What the results are. New Year's Day is on. Well, probably next weekend you'll get the matches for the next One Night Only. So yeah, get voting right now. Link in the description. All the info just do it. You know. You have a great way of promoting things. So, what else can we discuss? Maybe we should make a competition out of this this naming of themes for TNA for characters. Like if Metal Sonic here was in TNA, or was using a TNA theme, I should say, was not in TNA, what am I talking about? Was using a TNA theme, what theme would it be? Why don't we do that for the next one? We did one for Manic. So now let's say, see if anyone can come up with a decent theme, and me and him will discuss it on the No Mercy show. What you think Metal Sonic's theme should be if we were having TNA themes on the show? Any good themes for Metal Sonic? Post your ideas up, because on that one I'm just open for business. I don't mind what you say, or what kind of music it is. Just the Undertaker's music fits kind of in that kind of persona. I can picture him when he turns the lights on for his eyes to be glowing and stuff like that. You know, he was supposed to be the end of Sonic, was supposed to be why he was created and everything. Like the Sonic Terminator, I think he was being dubbed as. So, you know, he was death to Sonic, so we'll give him an Undertaker theme-ish kind of thing. But what theme would you give him, folks? If we use TNA themes, what theme would be suitable for Metal Sonic, do you think? Post your answers. I'm looking out for you, Mr. J Gams 28. That's how you say a name. But I'm assuming so. So yeah, what would Metasonic think? Can we think of one for Chaos? Me and you can think of one for Chaos. Well, so far at the moment you have one of Rhino's themes, don't you? Yep. Well, maybe you should use Rhino's TNA theme for Chaos. How does that go again? It goes does the gore, gore, gore. Oh yeah. Here comes the angry man. Maybe that would work, except for the gore part. We'll just cut that bit out. We'll just have the music. So there you go, that's Chaos's theme done. But Undertaker was never in TNA, so we don't have a version of that. And please don't give him the one he had for WrestleMania 27. Oh yeah. God, what the fuck was that? Didn't fit his entrance at all. Ain't no song can hold that body down, apart from that song. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Yeah, I know. So yeah, this was a fairly, obviously going to be a stretched out match, the most stretched out one. Which is all good news for us because we're kind of looking for other things to talk about right now. Yeah, Chaos still has the clothesline from hell. It's only until quite recently until he stopped using it, and then we started making him use the vertebraker more often. We don't actually have a finishing name for it, but hey, it sounds good enough already being the vertebraker. There's some bad editing skills by me there. We almost saw Chaos's victory screen, but we didn't. Well, we kind of did, but we didn't. And then I just cut it straight to the next match. As usual, I do now for editing in terms of. I'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, as I was saying, for the editing, when it comes to a match like this, and there needs to be another part without an entrance in the middle of it, or anything, then I will have the Day of Reckoning logo come in, when it does that, and then luckily enough, when you record another match, it starts off doing that same animation with the logo. So what I do is I very cleverly edit it so we have it so the logo comes in to end the match, and then the logo comes back out into the next part of the match. That's what I do nowadays. Sadly, if I have to resort to a restart of the match, then the screen just simply fades from white. So I can't really change that unless but I can't change it. So it would go into the Day of Reckoning logo, and then just fade out, and then the next match would just fade in from white. So sometimes that can't be avoided. But I always like people asking me what game I'm using, and I always at least show the logo on every part because of the matches and everything. If they paid just a little bit more attention, I'm not saying that I hate people asking me what game it is, by all means, because it's fun saying, this game actually exists. There's one on the GameCube called Day of Reckoning 2, and it's amazing, and it looks like this, if people just paid just a little bit more attention, they wouldn't have to ask the question at all. But not that I hate answering it, but it's just a minor inconvenience. I think the term would be used there. The only comments I do get is, "What game are you using? I'd like to know, please." That's an interesting voice. That's the voice of YouTube, is it? Yeah, it's how it's rather amusing. Use that voice and just sound like a parrot or something, and read comments on YouTube. It's rather amusing. So yeah. I could read some comments I have here, of course, because I'm looking at the comments. That's how I know about J Grams. J Grams' comment about Manic's name being Austin Aries. We had a comment on one of the One Night Only shows. I think now it was the Halloween one. With someone saying Bone should be ASF World Champion by now, and he proved it in this match with Wario. But if you said it in the other way, it works. If you said Bone should be ASF World Champion by now, and he proved it in this match with Wario. That is the voice of YouTube. So yeah, I'm trying to take the mick out of YouTube as much as possible, seeing as we've got to worry about the avoiding of the entrance for Sonic in this event. We won't have to worry about that at No Mercy because there's no Sonic. We'll have to worry about it at Survivor Series and at Armageddon, but we won't have to worry about it also at No Way Out or at ASIF because he never appeared on that one either. So that's something to look forward to. We won't have to look out for Sonic's entrance and cut to it. What is the button for doing that anyway? I think it's square, isn't it? I'm using the PlayStation, obviously. I've already said that numerous times on previous videos. And everyone knows, if you can tell from the introductions, that I'm using a PlayStation 3. So, yeah, it's as simple as that. The transitions and the voice of YouTube is just sounding very squawky. more could be people make you laugh, especially if they're talking nonsense. Obviously, I watch a lot of, or I try to watch a lot of wrestling associated stuff. I don't watch the actual show, but I watch a lot of like backstage interviews and behind the scenes shit. And people that comments on there, it's much better when not many people are talking much sense, and you use that voice. It makes it much more amusing than just people sounding like trolls. When it comes to people like The Rock and CM Punk and John Cena and Brock Lesnar and all those guys. You know, can't the wrestling industry just be a happy place without all this controversy? No, is the answer, in case you're wondering. But that's something we have to put up with, us educated fans, a.k.a. the internet fans, which is a terrible monarch to use, because everyone is on the internet. And the minute you start bad-mouthing John Cena, who do you get a diss from? You get diss from John Cena fans who are using the internet. Ugh. Anyway, enough about that. Not that we, like I said, got much to talk about the show, but this is a good way to vent my frustration on the WWE and YouTube. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying watching it. Or hearing it. So yeah, this match was doing its paces. I was like, yay, it's a big, long, epic match for the Intercontinental title, because we've had a lot of good matches for the Intercontinental Championship as a whole. I think it's been a very well-kept championship in terms of status, unlike on the other show, even though, you know, it's currently being dubbed as a big championship now because of who's holding it. But on this show, it's never lost its footing, I feel. We've always had a strong match for the Intercontinental Championship, and some strong competitors to back it up, and this being one of them. And of course, the Intercontinental Championship gets put into the main event as a result of Survivor Series. And then, of course, it's being carried by Shadow, I'm very comfortable with him being the champion. I'm sure a lot of other people are as well. I like his character holding the Intercontinental Championship. It's definitely a good thing to have. So I've never seen a fault with anything to do with the Intercontinental title, so I'm kind of glad on that front that it hasn't fallen into obscurity or that we haven't ignored it or something. So yeah, it's all good. Just I was really worried for the women's title at this point, because I didn't know the future and there wasn't a lot of things to do with it. in terms of the people that could fight for it or the competitors. But now we've got a whole new, fresh approach on it, and we've got more competitors, and there's going to be more on the way. So the women's division will be going back up there on a pedestal. it'll be going back up the ranks and being important again. Luckily, or at least in my eyes, it will be, definitely. And I think a lot of other people will enjoy the storyline we have planned for what's to come for the Women's Championship. You're going to love it, I feel. Or at least you're going to be intrigued by it. We'll leave it at that. So, Chaos retains the Intercontinental Championship here. And he's going to lose it at Survivor Series. So we can turn him into that monster heel being. But he had a good run with the Intercontinental title, I feel, so it was good enough, and somebody else has needed to take the reins. Of course, it fell into Sonic's hands just before he lost to Shadow. So, you know, that was all good. Sonic can say at least he had one championship for a shorter time. And it was the Intercontinental title. I don't know what people thought of the Intercontinental title when he had it, but hey, he didn't have it for very long. So just as well. Oh, actually, yep, we better worry about skipping it. Here we go, here's the magic button. Can't do... Oh wait, is this the end of the video? I believe so. Hang on. Yeah, okay, wow, that's just as well then. We'll wow, don't do that to me. Let's just start this one. Hopefully it doesn't... I don't... No, can't show it. No. There we go. we avoided it, or at least I hope so. I don't have to... Yeah. Don't do anything, YouTube. So yeah, Sonic's entrance has been avoided. Well, the bit where he comes out is okay, but the bit before that isn't okay. But we've completely avoided it altogether, I hope. YouTube, I'm looking at you. Otherwise I'm going to be very irritated. Now we try to skip the entrance, and it happens to be the thing right at the beginning of the video, so hopefully that doesn't fuck things up. I should have stopped recording for the thing about... Oh, never mind. We didn't. But hopefully everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. Do not panic. That's what you like to think. So yes, here's Shadow coming out on the old motorcycle. I think this is an introduction, like a new entrance for him, I believe, if I'm correct, unless I've just been living under a rock and haven't been paying attention to Shadow's previous entrances. But I'm pretty sure it's the start of the motorcycle thing, if I'm not much mistaken. So yeah, because he's the world champion and all that stuff, and usually when we say they win the championship, then they get something new added to them, or whatever. It happened with Bart, and it happened with Shadow, and you know, it happened with a few other people. It happened with Tails, in some way, shape or form. Just something new. We tried to give them something new if we could give them something new. And the bike just fit with Shadow. I could be talking a load of I could be talking a load of hornswoggle. I could be talking a load of crap if I can't even remember if Shadow had a bike entrance prior to this. That's how bad things are from my memory. But never mind. I'm just not going to say anything and sound more intelligent than So yeah, here we are with Unforgiven's main event. Not much thought put into it at all. I was thinking, right, we need to carry on the Sonic and Mario rivalry, but we need an opponent for Shadow also. And we need someone to lose it to. Because like I said, I don't like Shadow being the world champion here. We only had him champion so that the title didn't transition over to SmackDown. Because otherwise that would have been hell. So keep it on Raw, keep it with Shadow, because we knew Bart was going over. At least, because that was one way we're going to end the rivalry. And I didn't want Shadow particularly over on, especially after what Star said about separating the Sonic characters. It's like, well, I don't want Shadow going over to SmackDown then, do I? I said, well, seeing as the Sonic and Mario rivalry is fresh off the pan, and it's renewed in a sense, we can have them feuding over the championship for a little while we give that something for Mario to do and make him important, because if we're going to draft him over, he needs to have a presence, and what's the best presence he could have? Go over to Raw and win the World Championship. So that's what gave me the idea for this match, and that was pretty much it. And we had a triple threat match, as much as I hate them on this game, because sometimes they can act pretty dumb. You know, like I said, with the finishing moves, like they can hit you when you're doing finishing moves, or, you know, the computer will go for a pin when you're still standing right next to you. It happens a lot in wrestling video games. It's kind of hard to avoid. But, yeah, the computer can act dumb and won't attack the other person before going for a pin. It'll just go straight for a pin, and so you can just go, well, I'm just going to kick you off, aren't I? So, yeah. Yeah, that was a funny bit of stuff going on there. We tried to put emphasis on no disqualification because I noticed that this night wasn't very weapon heavily used. 2 out of 3 falls, hardly anything was used because there couldn't be. I think we were running on disqualifications as well. And the KO match, we didn't really use much weaponry because of your involvement. Didn't really need it, so I was trying to get more weapons involved with this one. Because everyone likes a bit of weaponage every now and then, and seeing as Unforgiven didn't hardly have any, we needed just a little bit of destruction and carnage, and we needed to make this feel like a main event, like these three were going to, you know, compete and bring out their all for the championship match. Yeah, this is one of those matches that looked good on paper. Always, and looked good in for a show, you know, having these three in the ring at the same time. So it as easy as I make it sound like it was to put together, it worked. You know, sometimes the easiest answer is the quickest, or the best answer is the easiest, I should say. Here's Shadow spearing people. Usually with triple threat matches, I do have the disqualification and the countouts on, or at least I'd have the disqualification on. But this match, like I said, it needed that extra bit of special attention, therefore we didn't have any disqualifications or countouts. It was the first one to get a victory wins, to make it a little bit more exciting and that little bit more epic. So that was definitely what was needed, and was definitely necessary. To make this feel like a main event. Shadow, where the frickin' hell are you going? Yeah, it definitely felt like it would be main event material with these three. I was looking forward to it myself. I think it was, to be honest, it was the only match I was looking forward to. Oh, thanks. Well, in terms of how good it looked. But that's just me. But I enjoyed this night as a whole. It wasn't one of my most favourite nights to do. or to watch or whatever, but it was certainly we tried to make it as entertaining as possible, and I think we achieved that. But like you said, things were thought of very cheaply at this point because we didn't have any envisions of the future necessarily, apart from this match. So things were just being done on a cheap, with the Metal Sonic and Chaos thing, with just the disqualification loss means they could have a match, and then the Knuckles and Mandy thing had to be ended, and the only people we could put in the Women's Championship match are those two, Amy and Cream, and we needed Metal Knuckles to be a monster heel, so we could face Ackie and fill that blank spot. So, like you said, there wasn't much put to it in terms of this event, which is probably why I wasn't looking forward to it that much. But I hope the fans did. I think they did do it. We had some good feedback in the end, but it was very poorly made, I must say. Yeah. Even I'll say that. I confess. Didn't have to put much brains into this one. Compared to No Mercy, we had to put a lot of brains into that. Jeez, we got a lot to talk about on that one, and sadly that event is shorter than this one. But so yeah, F. F is definitely the letter I want to use for that. But we've had a lot to talk about for No Mercy in a shorter space of time, I believe. That's only a belief, but I think it did go pretty short. It was a pretty short event, considering. Even if I say it's my favourite, I don't say it's my favourite because it was the shortest and easiest to make. It's just because everything went so well and how I wanted it to go. So, all according to plan, as they say. But there's so much to talk about revolving around that. So I'll be looking forward to doing that on New Year's Eve with you before we go and party. Party the night away. So yeah, so we had a creative slush puppy here, if that's the term, and we had a creative high for No Mercy, certainly, because that was very hard to work out with that show. So I'm glad we have more shows in terms of televised themed based shows. We had 4 Smashdowns to work with to build up that, while we only had about 2 or 3 for this one. Or less. We might have had 5. If we had 3 for this one, then we had 5 for Smashdown, because of course they alternated. So that was a nice a bit of leeway to build everything up for No Mercy. So that will all be part of what we're talking about on the next show. So much to talk about on that part. We can't talk about it now because that would just take away from what we talk about on No Mercy. So, and I hate having gaps, as you won't know. We like to be talking about stuff, but we really had no vision of the future from what to do, so we had to start making long-term plans after this, big time. The only long-term plan we had was for the main event, but after that, we when it came to anything else, we didn't know what was going to happen, and we needed to start pumping out storylines and stuff ready for Survivor Series. So yeah, trouble was afoot for Raw when it came to this kind of stuff. And is Shadow going to make Sonic tap out? No, he's not, because it's Mario who wins. I forget who Mario actually pins. I believe it might be Sonic, I don't know. Just to put emphasis on, those two having a rivalry, he had to pin Sonic to get the championship. Although it would have made more sense for him to pin Shadow. Like I said, I don't remember who he pinned. It was just a spur of the moment kind of thing. I don't know what I settled with in the end. But as long as Mario was the victor, I was happy. Because we needed to put that championship on him for this time to make him that important. Because lo and behold, like I said, I think I might have mentioned this before, but the minute Mario lost that championship, suddenly he just was on a bonus match with the Games Guru, who's no longer with us on Armageddon, and he wasn't the focal point anymore. When he kind of lost that stature. of being a person on the roster that you could utilize, which is the last thing I want to do with Mario at the end of the day, because I'm just as much a Mario fan as I am a Sonic fan. It's hard to write for Mario characters, which is why we don't have a lot of them on the show, and for the ones that I do have on the show, the only hard ones to write for are Mario and Luigi. But Peach and Wario are finding their mark and very easy to write for, in terms of what they can do and stuff. So yeah. And of course we've got Peach's debut to come. We had Mindy's debut here, and we had Peach's debut to come on No Mercy. We'll be talking a lot about that to come when that event strikes, which will be on next Thursday, on New Year's Day. Like we said, we'll be recording it before that, but not on the same day like we did the last two events. That drove me nuts. I think we can safely say at this point that we can thank everyone for tuning in, even if this was a fairly short show. It will be a fairly short show next time. Survivor Series, though, will be tragically long, but luckily we'll have a lot to talk about there on that front. So that's kind of a good thing. I don't know how long Survivor Series exactly is, but it's definitely fairly long, seeing as we had a lot of elimination matches going on, and we had a 3 stages of hell as well, which added to it. So we've got plenty of time to talk about shows, Survivor Series. So if we don't manage to do it all in No Mercy, it may pass over. Who knows? It depends on how much we get discussed. But yeah, thanks for tuning in for this short amount of time. It's been our shortest so far, but it'll get shorter next time, I believe, if not the same length for No Mercy next time. But all good, important things coming up to stay tuned for. And there we go, Mario did pin Shadow. Voila. So that's how we started Sonic versus Mario. Shadow lost the title fair and square, but Sonic didn't, so we continue. So yeah, I was thinking that I did pin Shadow, would have made more sense. But like I said, I think that was my mindset at the time when Mario came around to getting a victory. Is I don't care who he pins, just make him win. it's important. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. I just need him to get a victory, and so here he is winning the world title, and that's about it. So yeah, that will call it a day. Any final thoughts, Eggman? You haven't been saying a lot throughout this entire show. I've been doing most of the yakking. I'd just like to say I'm looking forward to talking about No Mercy more than I was about this one. Like I said, I wasn't that much hyped up for it. But if anyone else liked the Unforgiven show, then don't let me take that away from you. Because at the end of the day, it was a good product, and we did a good job doing the commentary. And, you know, it was fun at the end of the day. But I just, on a personal level, I didn't find it as amusing, perhaps, as previous events or events to come. So that's my 2 cents. Okay then, we'll end it there. So yeah, see you later everyone. Goodbye. And we'll see you on Thursday. Yeah, we're going to be recording No Mercy on Wednesday, but I'll be posting it up on New Year's Day. No Mercy to come, with a lot of news to talk about. Oh yes. But we will see you then. Thanks for watching or listening or been doing whatever you've been doing. And yeah, see you on next Thursday. Goodbye, everyone. Say goodbye, Eggman. See you later, guys.